afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Now, as a kid, I've always been obsessed with efficiency. I was a kid, and as many of you know, in primary school, you used to write like those Chinese characters like 20 times, 100 times to make sure that handwriting is good, right? I have always managed to finish that piece of work much quicker than everyone else in my class. Why is that the case? I took 2 pencils, I hold it together like a chopstick, and I scribble across the page as quickly as I can so that I can go out and play. Right? And of course, as you can imagine, my Chinese characters, my Chinese handwriting now is pretty terrible. But that's beside the point. Today, I'm here to talk about efficiency, I'm going to talk about community. Now, one of the biggest challenges that Penang and Georgetown is facing today, that it is a heritage city. It was never built to handle the modern transportation service. The streets are narrow, there are few car parks available, and every single car that we drive into the city presents a space that we choke, a space that we occupy for the rest of the day. At the same time, a personal car remains one of the most underutilized assets that we own in our lifetime. A car costs about 1/5 of what you might pay for a property, but you only spend probably 1/10 of your time inside a house, inside a car. That means you're only spending very little amount of time inside a car, but you're paying so much more. Now, fine, so why not public transportation? Why don't we have buses? Why don't we have trains? Buses and trains remains one of the best urban transportation solutions out there, but they require multi-year planning, they require huge capital investment from the government, and they're rigid. You build it for 3 years, they need to hold it there for 10 years before you can have a new one. Now, what about taxis? This is a very interesting question. Through the course of my work, recently there was a survey that was being done about Malaysian taxis that actually rated Malaysian taxis as one of the worst in the world. Through the course of my work, I've met many Malaysian taxis. I have met drivers, and I always find that they are good, honest folk who are there to just make a living. But one of the key reasons why taxis got rated so poorly is because the fares that they charge are often above what is the metered fare. And the vehicle quality is to be improved. Now, to explain taxi, so I always ask myself, wait, hold on a second, you have taxi drivers who are honest, good honest folk who want to make a living, and then you have this terrible service, expensive fares. The two ideas does not reconcile. Then you start to understand why this is the case, because in Malaysia, an average taxi is a Proton Saga, which costs about 400 to 500 ringgit in monthly installment. But as a taxi driver, you need to pay another additional 200 to 300 ringgit to own the taxi license. That is a 50% increase in your fixed costs. Imagine you open a shop, imagine you open a business, immediately your fixed cost just increases by 50%. And mind you, the license holders, who are the people charging these fees, is not the government. They are individuals who might have a connection with the government, who might know someone, who then gains this license and then is allowed to charge these taxi drivers a rental fee. Now, the extra fares that you pay to a taxi does not go to a taxi driver. The extra fares that you pay to a taxi is actually money that is going to a license holder who is charging these taxi drivers that fare. Now, what if I can present a solution to you that is, number one, does not require public investment, that is robust and flexible, that could be cheaper than taxi, cheaper than owning a car, and it can increase the utilization of personal cars. Now, I'm from a company called Uber. There are a few companies like us. We do something called technology-enabled ride-sharing. What is technology-enabled ride-sharing? That means anyone with a smartphone, if you hit a button, you can request for a car that's nearest to you, and a driver similarly equipped with the app is able to come and pick you up, and is fairly compensated for the trip. Now, ride-sharing and carpooling had existed for a long time in the human race. But what is different with the modern society is that we have technology. So we are able to background check every single driver that's on our platform. And at the same time, every single rider and every single driver is able to rate each other for the service and behavior that you provide to each other. Now, I mentioned earlier that ride-sharing could even be cheaper than owning a personal car. Now, the average trip in Penang is about 10 kilometers long. Per kilometer, fuel charge about 20 cents, so it costs about 2 ringgit per trip to run. And assume that a person drives for 4 trips per day, that works out to about 3 ringgit 42 cents per trip if you amortize the fixed cost of a car across all the trips that's taken. That means every single trip, a driver uses about 5 ringgit 42 cents. However, if you are through ride sharing, you are engaged to significantly increase the utilization of the car, you are able to amortize the fixed cost of the car across more trips, thereby bringing the cost of ownership of a car, not just to this individual, but to the entire community, down to about 1 ringgit plus. Significantly bringing down the cost of driving and the cost of getting somewhere. Now, ride sharing also leverages massively on network effect. What it means by network effect is that the more you use the product, the more efficient it becomes. Now, this is a graph of Penang since the day we started. The green line, see the rising green line, presents the number of trips that we have done, Uber has done in Penang since day one of our launch, which is somewhere in May. The blue line represents a median ETA. ETA is the estimated time of arrival, the amount of time you wait between request and pickup. As you can see, as the trips climb, the waiting time drops. This is kind of counterintuitive, isn't it? It's like, the more someone wants that char kway teow, the more available the char kway teow becomes to you, right? But this is the fundamental truth of a network effect. Now, let me show you the map of Penang. Now, this is Penang at 5 p.m. yesterday. And right here is that we show all the cars that are available, only the cars that are available in Penang. It was a high utilization period, so many cars are unavailable, but these cars are available. Now, what you notice from this graph is that the red dots represents a rider who's opening an app and trying to request for a car. If you're anywhere in Georgetown, you get a car within 5 minutes. Within 5 minutes. If you're somewhere further along Bayan Lepas Kelugur area, you get a car in about 8 to 10 minutes. Mind you, this is Penang. Penang started ride sharing 5 months ago. Let me show you a map of a city which has had ride sharing for 2.5 years. This is a map of Singapore. As you can see, if you're somewhere, anywhere along here, you can see a number of riders who are here. If you're anywhere along here, the ride gets to you within a minute. And if you're anywhere on the outskirts, so these are probably like all your Price, your Butterworth, Bukit Mertajam kind of area, the car gets to you between 5 and 10 minutes. This is a power network effect. Each individual rider, each trip that you make, allows us to bring on another driver. When there are more drivers, then it makes the product even more reliable. You make the product's ETA even shorter, and you bring the cost down because every single ETA is time wasted for both the rider and the driver. You bring the ETA down and you bring the cost down for everyone, and that's how we bring the price cheaper. Now, efficiency moves the city. But what makes ride sharing especially appropriate for Penang is this idea of community. About 4 weeks back, about 11 p.m. at night, I received a phone call from one of the Uber drivers who said that it's suspected that one of their fellow Uber drivers was having a seizure, and they asked if I could go down to take a look, and because the last known location of the Uber driver was very near my house. So I got into the Uber, went to the location, and what was amazing at that point was that when I arrived at the last known location of this driver, I found 5 other Uber drivers who were present, who were all concerned, who were all trying to find this particular driver who we suspect had a seizure. And true enough, at 1 a.m. in the morning, I got a notification that the Uber driver was found in an A&E station hospital in Penang. She indeed had a seizure at 11 p.m. And at that moment of need, she had a community of Uber drivers who went to her, who made sure she wasn't alone, and drove her and her car home. Now, this is the community that is Penang, where everyone shows genuine concern for each other, that everyone wants to help each other. Now, recently I was in another Uber ride about 2 weeks back, and I noticed that the driver has difficulty moving his left arm. It's not that he can't drive, it's just that whenever he moves his left arm, I can see him wincing. So later on I found out that he was formerly a policeman who, during the line of duty, when him and his colleagues set up a roadblock, a car rammed into the roadblock and killed 4 of his colleagues and badly injured him. He has since left the force and is now actually volunteering as one of the neighborhood watchers, where there's a 3,000-man strong neighborhood watch in Penang Island where you call a hotline and they can dispatch someone down to where you are. And what they do is that they don't enforce the law, but they're there to make sure that in the moment of need, you have another person present. Now, this is the community that is Penang, where people care, where people give a damn about each other. And this community chooses the best of us to be a part of it. What I hope is that ride-sharing companies like Uber or like any other ride-sharing companies can be a small part of this, where the trip between your home and office is a time when you can meet another stranger in the car, understand their stories, and hopefully just kind of understand what constitutes what is Penang. And that's it. Thank you.